Ladies and gents, welcome. Thank you for joining Global Brew Ed Isolation. A big shout out to Ed and Graham for organizing another fantastic live event. My name is Sunny Takra, and I am an international educator, originally from the UK and currently working at the British School, New Delhi, India. If you want to find out a bit more about me or have questions after this particular session, feel free to connect with me via Twitter or LinkedIn, or as I say, Google me, I'm out there. The international sector continues to grow at an astonishing pace, and the demand for teachers has grown substantially. This leads to an annual migration of teachers across countries. This session is focused on discussing the impact of COVID-19 on international teachers who have either resigned or are thinking of resigning or have taken up positions in other countries. The focus of the conversation in general due to the crisis has been majorly on students, and quite rightly so. Even where staff are discussed, the focus has been on upskilling, technology, procedures, general well-being, but this niche group of educators and their needs have been overlooked. Well, no more. This session will cover the options available and the ways forward for those teachers who might have resigned, are looking to resign, or are planning to do so over the next year. Might also be useful to teachers who are thinking of moving into the international sector, as it might give you some insights which could be useful in the future. The way the sector works is that schools expect you to resign 7 to 9 months ahead of your departure date. What it means is that most of the current batch of teachers who resigned would have done so by October 2019. If you're a local or a national teacher, then for most, a term or 3 months is the normal period, and most of you will probably already have a job secured before you do resign from your current school. So, why do international schools make teachers do that? Well, it's because this helps them plan for recruitment of replacements, which often has a long lead time. Schools advertise their vacancies on portals like TES Jobs, Search, ISS Scroll, amongst others, and teachers then apply for these posts. With visas and other paperwork, which can take months, schools need to plan ahead. So, a number of international teachers this year would have resigned way before COVID 19 ever appeared on the scene, and quite a few would have accepted posts in other countries before the epidemic hit their current one. Now, due to the speed of the spread, countries went into lockdown, travel stopped, embassies shut down, along with government offices, universities. Schools went virtual, and suddenly what was an exciting time to begin a new journey started turning into a bit of a nightmare. How do we go about getting documents attested and legalized for the visa process? How do we go about applying for visas? Often international teachers work in countries other than their own, so if travel is restricted, they can't even return home. On top of all of this is the ambiguity of the offer from their new school. Contracts might have been signed, but will they be honored? How would packing work? The logistics of moving house and families is another battle altogether. What if the school honors the contract, but you can't travel? What is your immigration status in the country you are currently in? Questions about salaries and how they will be paid, to logistics of virtual school, to health insurances come to mind. If you have children, what happens to their education? Some international teachers around the world are busy dealing with all of that and ensuring high quality education for students in their care. Kudos to you all. I really think that you're doing a fantastic job. But let's unpack this a bit more and consider some scenarios. If you are thinking of resigning, then the best advice is don't. Right now is not the climate to make changes. If you have no choice, and that could be due to a number of reasons like contract expiry, school closures, professional issues, and whatnot, let's move on to discuss some other scenarios in a bit more depth. What to do if you have resigned and don't have another job yet? In that case, talk to your current school and see if you can work out a way of staying. The best option is to see this through in a country that you're familiar with. What to do if you have talked and they can't offer you your job back, or perhaps you don't want your job back? In that case, you have no option but to look for a new job. Start with international schools in the country you're currently in. You would be an ideal option for them. A candidate who's in the country, familiar with it, reduced admin, and reduced financial costs. If applying within the country you're in is not a feasible option, then you need to look for places where visas and travel might not be too complex. Failing that, the world is your oyster. There were about 1,200 international jobs listed on TES as of this morning, so I'm sure there will be one for you. And believe you me, this is a lot more jobs on the market so close to the end of the international school year. What to do when you secure the job? We will come to that a bit later on. Next up, what to do if you have resigned and accepted an offer or signed a contract. Now, this is tricky. There are two schools of thought here. One says offers and contracts are not really valid as you are in different countries and operating under different laws. Schools will not think twice of letting you go, so you should look out for yourself. The other focuses on ethics and mutual respect. You signed the contract, accepted the offer in good faith, and the school is banking on you to teach children. Withdrawing leaves them in the lurch and having to go through the recruitment cycle all over again, and that might not be a good option for you professionally, reputation wise. Whichever school of thought you subscribe to depends on your personal moral compass. If you do withdraw from an offer, talk to the new school first and outline your concerns. Give them a chance to respond and process this. Most reputable schools will be understanding. Follow the answer to the previous scenario and try to get a job with your current school or in the current country before you withdraw from an offer, because you don't want to be out of options at this particular point in time. What to do if you have decided to move overseas? Start talking to your new school. Outline the concerns about salary payment, accommodation, visa situation, medical insurances, immigration status within your current country, virtual school, police checks, and any kind of support they can offer with these. If you sign with a reputable school, they will have an action plan and they will be happy to talk you through it. You might want to involve agents at some point who can help you with the paperwork once things get better, and believe me, they will get better. You might want to start planning ahead and take care of all the little bits and pieces that you can do now, as things might move pretty quickly. It is not all doom and gloom, as this might be an ideal time for teachers to move on. Opportunities might arise in top international schools with little to no competition compared to the normal recruitment season. If you take a leap of faith, you might just end up in your dream school. Hopefully, all of this gives you a brief overview of the complexities involved, and there might be a huge amount more questions that pop up in your head as a result of this. So, where do you go to get help? Your current school and the new school would be the first places to start. After that, forums on International School Review and TES jobs could be useful, as long as you stay away from the trolls and the negativity. Bit of a rabbit hole, that one. Better than those are international educators in the country you're currently in or are traveling to, as they can give you realistic advice and a clearer picture of the ground realities in the country you would like to call your new home. If you are worried or have any further questions, feel free to send them my way via Twitter, and I will do my very best to help you find answers. Thank you for your time and have a great weekend.